Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds in 3 years. If you'd like to join the family, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Also, click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. If you'd like to participate on the discussion, you can join me most weekdays where I go live on YouTube or outside of my live streams. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can consider joining the Discord I created. There is a link for that down in the description below. Also, down in the description below is a link to a Pinterest board. That is a great place for you guys to get some idea of the meals that I've been enjoying on my whole food plant-based diet. Today is day 839 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. I've used a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food plant-based salt, oil, sugar-free diet to lose 245 pounds so far. I have a little bit over 8 months left to go. I'm excited to reach my goal and spend the rest of my life at a healthy weight. If anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories. If you have any on-scale victories, I love hearing those as well. If you're struggling with your diet, what's some of the things that are causing your struggles? If you're succeeding with your diet, let us know what you're doing to succeed. And at the end of the day, what are you doing that will make staying on your diet easier than the alternative? Let's see here. I had my video thing all messed up, so I normally switch from one screen to the other, but I don't have that here today. A couple people checking in: Ron, Plants Only Muncher, Barb, Anthony. Hello. I hope everybody had a great evening last night and a wonderful day today. Let's see here. I'm gonna go over food here, I suppose, since yesterday. Let me go ahead and pull that up. Let's see, last night's dinner. Let me pull that up. It's been a while since we've had this for dinner last night, so let me pop this up. We enjoyed the screen not blinking like I wanted it to. Last night we enjoyed a wonderful salad. There it is, with lots of spinach and mushrooms and carrots, and there's onion in there, I believe. This photo here's got it all mixed up a little better. There's some peas, a bunch of cucumber, just a big salad for dinner last night. And like I said, it'd been a while since we had salad for dinner. I was happy to have it for dinner last night. Something that I kind of mention a lot when I think about eating a salad. I've been so adverse to eating salads my whole life that the idea of having salad for dinner seems so foreign to me, or having just salad for dinner seems so foreign to me. And now that we've been doing this or been eating this way for the past 2 years, I'm really starting to embrace having just a big salad for dinner. And last night it was no exception. It was a wonderful dinner. Something that I actually talked about in the live stream this past week was salad and going out and eating a salad. And my mentality on, like I said, having just salad for dinner has changed. But also what the size of a salad should actually be has also changed as well. Many times it's, set up as a side dish or a starter to a meal. And so it's generally not a very big portion of salad. Well, with our diet, that's not what we do. We eat large portions. And last night it was, a big bowl of salad and a bunch of wonderful vegetables here. And when we first started having salads, we kind of were trying to find a dressing that we liked, and we tried a mustard-based dressing and an apple cider vinegar-based dressing. We've tried a bunch of different types of dressings with our salads over the last 2 years. And in the past few months, anytime that we've had salad for dinner, I've actually opted to not put anything on it, and just to eat the salad as it is with, without any dressing or any type of added sauce to it, or even like lemon juice or anything like that. And I really enjoy eating the salads that way. One of the things that I've noticed is that it definitely slows down how fast I eat. In fact, I was looking at my photos and I took a photo here of the salad mixed up. And then I took another photo as I was getting to the end of it when it was just the very bottom of it here. And the time difference between my first photo and this photo is over 20 minutes. So it took a while to get the salad or eat the entire salad. And that whole process, I feel like, helps make me feel fuller. And like I said, I appreciate the food much more. And not having any dressing on it allows me to really taste the flavors in each bite, and every time you put, vegetables together like this, it's always interesting to me that how different they can taste each time. Like the dinner last night, the spinach had a much stronger taste to it than I can remember it having any time before. And it's just, that bag of spinach. Or the carrots might taste a little different. It's those carrots that give it a little bit of different taste. And by not putting any dressing on it, those flavors really come through and you can really taste it. It's not being masked by another flavor. So that was dinner last night. I was very busy this past week and I've been getting up real early and I've been real tired in the afternoon. And last night, it definitely kind of caught up to me and I ended up, going to sleep a little bit earlier than I normally do. I actually just fell asleep on the couch watching television. And right before I went to sleep or fell asleep, Carrie had asked if I wanted some cobbler for dinner or for dessert. And I was like, well, yeah, of course. I love that cobbler. And then I proceeded to fall asleep. And then I woke up like an hour later and decided to just go to bed because it was late enough to go to bed. So I didn't end up eating a ton of volume last night outside of this large salad that really filled me up. And then today for food, I started my food off today. Didn't eat till about 10 a.m. And I had a steamer bag of cauliflower and broccoli. And then I put a little bit of the California balsamics curry vinegar on there. I kind of took a day off from any of the California balsamics yesterday because on Wednesday, it felt like we had a lot of it. So I had some of that on the cauliflower and broccoli that I had this morning. And then I took a lot of photos of it. And then here is my second half of my breakfast, which was a large bowl of our savory oats. It's a combination of steel cut oats and oat groats, and then spinach, mushrooms, and onions mixed into it there. Plants Only Muncher here says that you eat a big salad almost every day with either rice vinegar or apple cider vinegar on it. Yes, that's great that you're getting, all those greens and you're getting that salad. Something that we do a lot is Carrie will add spinach to recipes even if they don't necessarily call for it. And like with our oatmeal here that we have in the morning, we put spinach in it just to kind of give it a little more volume, a little bit flavor. And then it also helps ensure that we're getting plenty of green leafy vegetables in our diet every day. I am getting an alert here that the broadcast is not coming through clear. So let me know if you are having any issues with the stream here. So, like I said last night, I was very tired. I needed to go to sleep. So I did end up going to sleep pretty quickly after dinner. And I feel great today. I had to get up a little bit early this morning because the snow that we were anticipating coming in during the day on Thursday really came in, in the afternoon on Thursday. So I had to get up early this morning, run out and do take care of plowing the driveway a bit, and just having to deal with that and get up and do it was so much easier now that I've lost all this weight than when I was 520 pounds. And I still, haven't gotten over that kind of mental hurdle of realizing that these tasks are going to be easier now that I've lost all this weight. When I was 520 pounds, having to go out and deal with plowing the driveway or shoveling the snow, the idea of it just seems like such a, it was going to take so much effort, and it did take so much effort, and it would take it out of me for like the whole day having to do something like that. So when I'm faced with having to deal with the driveway or deal with plowing, my mind right away goes to, that mentality of how difficult it's going to be, when in reality it was much easier to handle and I was able to take care of it fairly quickly. Or at least a lot quicker than I used to be able to take care of it. Let's see. Everybody says that the live stream seems to be working well, which is great. And it did come back and tell me that the connection got better. And it might have been sometimes when I link my phone to the computer, it messes up the internet. So, but yeah, so kind of a little non-scale victory, I guess, today would just be how much easier it is to live life, how much easier it is to do the simple things, or the things that used to be difficult, that, have become much easier to handle, which is great. And then today, hopefully the sun takes care of any of the snow that was left behind, and I don't have to do too much or put too much effort into having to clean up the driveway anymore. Another thing today, I did post a video on my channel about how water fasting is not the solution. Water fasting can be part of the equation to weight loss, but it's not the solution to your weight loss. It's not going to magically make you this healthy weight because you started water fasting. You really have to fix the food. That's what is going to make the difference in whether or not you see sustainable weight loss, is whether or not you fix the food. Because when you try to just eat in moderation, it's really nearly impossible. And the whole population of people that are trying to lose weight by moderation are the proof that it doesn't work. Because if moderation worked, so many of us would be skinny. We would all be skinny because we would be able to succeed, but it doesn't work. And one of the things that I talked about in the video that I kind of want to elaborate on is this idea that I had, or that people have, a binge eating disorder. I see that come up, people on different forums or, places that are looking for advice. They always say, well, I need something to help fix my binge eating disorder. And I think that what people need to understand is that binge eating is not a disorder. Binge eating is a natural physiological adaptation that humans have developed over the entire existence of the human race. It's something where we benefited by being binge eaters. The people out there that can eat more food benefited by having that ability, because when the time came when the food was scarce, they had the excess reserves to make it through those times of scarcity. So it's not a disorder. It's not a disease. It's not something that is wrong with you as a person. Binge eating is natural. It's what our body is designed to do. It's designed to eat as many calories as possible with as little effort as possible. And so when I see people talk about having a binge eating disorder, or when I think about my mentality, I absolutely thought that I had a binge eating disorder, and it's not. The binge eating is actually an advantage. The disorder is in the food that we choose to eat, the food that we have access to, the food that we put in our mouth. That's the disordered food, because it doesn't occur naturally in the environment that we evolved from. These highly processed foods that are chocked full of chemicals and have crazy calorie counts, and the absorption rate of the food is way higher than it ever would have been in nature. So it's the food that we're surrounded by that is disordered. It's not you. Barb says, can't stay long. Have a great weekend. Yes, you have a great weekend too. But the companies that are presenting the food to us want us to believe that it's us. They want you to believe that it's your fault that you can't handle eating the food that they put in front of you. And it's not true. They're just trying to shift the blame from themselves, because if they had to face the fact that they're the ones that are creating this abnormal food, that they're the ones that are causing the rise in obesity to the population, they would have to make changes. They can't admit that they're the problem, because then people would stop buying their products. They have to push it onto the consumer. They have to make the consumer feel like they're the one that is failing. And they just happen to be there with all of these options for us, with these low fat, low calorie diet program foods that you should eat instead of these other foods that we make. So you eat the diet food they make, you lose a few pounds, you start feeling good about yourself, so you switch back to eating the old food you used to eat. You eat that old food for a little bit and you start packing the pounds back on, and then you start getting discouraged, or you start deciding that, hey, I need to lose weight again, so I'm going to go buy their diet products. And you keep getting in this cycle of eating products from the same people, just on both ends of the spectrum. It's not like they're benefiting whether you're eating their diet food or you're eating the junk food. They're still benefiting, because they want you to be in this cycle where you continue to blame yourself. You continue to believe that it's your fault that you are fat. And it's, in a way, they can get away with it because you're the one that's choosing to eat the food. But it's like some, maybe like a cat that is addicted to catnip. Like your cat, if it wasn't there, it wouldn't know it existed. But because you give it to it, then it gets high off of it. And we do that with the food. If the food wasn't there, if it didn't exist, if instant Jello was never invented, if these chemicals weren't allowed to be put in our foods, we never would have known they existed. But now that we do know they exist, we desire them greatly, because they feed right into that pleasure trap mechanism that is out there. It's the motivational triad to seek pleasure, avoid pain, and to conserve energy. And they know that if they can hit all of those, they're going to create addicts. If they can give you more pleasure than you could naturally get by providing you with this high calorie, high dopamine response food. They can conserve your energy by making it available through a drive up window that you don't have to do anything you have to exert any effort to get it, so they feed into that. And then the avoiding pain, is just, again, not having to put that effort out there, not having to do anything strenuous in order to receive this food. You just drive up to the window, you're handed a bag of calories, and it feeds into our natural instinct. That's what we want. We want to be able to sit under an apple tree all day and just pick apples and eat them, or sit by a banana tree and just eat the bananas off the tree. That's what we desire. We desire that low effort, that high calorie possibility, and that's what we've been adapted to do that. And again, it's that physiological adaptation that our body created so that we could live longer, so that we could eat a ton of food when the food is plush, when, the summer and the fall, when there's lots of food around. Our bodies are designed to pack in the calories so that when the winter comes and the spring doesn't come till late, we can go through that period of time where we don't have access to any food. But because we ate in an abundance, because we binge ate 6 months earlier, we survived when the food was scarce. But we don't live in that world anymore. We don't ever have to worry about food scarcity. So we get stuck into this, just binge eating, never having to deal with starvation. And then the food that we're binging on is 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 times more calorie dense than the foods that we could have eaten in nature. So for me, what I find is that if I just binge eat every day on low calorie foods, I get to continue to be satisfied with what I eat, and I'm continuing to lose weight each week eating this way. Let's see here. Ron here says, I don't see can't eat just one, or once you pop, you can't stop on a bag of baby carrots. These foods tell you how addictive they are. Yes, it's a marketing campaign. Everybody knows the Ruffles campaign. I bet you can't just eat one. And they, it's almost like they're daring you to become fat, but by that campaign, like you said, they tell you that it's addictive. Like they almost admit it that it's addictive, so they can't be held responsible. But somebody spent millions and millions of dollars to produce that chip. It might just be one chip that you put into your mouth, but the production of that chip has millions of dollars behind it because they made it a specific diameter. They made it a specific thickness. They made it have a specific number of waves in it. They made it have a specific crunchiness to it. They put a specific number of calories in it, a specific number of salt granules on it. Like they spent millions of dollars to produce that single chip. In reality, they mass produce them by the billions, but each individual chip has $1 million worth of marketing built into it. And that's just in the development of the chip. Then you look at the bag itself, the coloring of the bag, the size of the wording, whether or not it has a certain background in it, the facts up front on it. It says, 0 trans fat or low in calories, or something that they think that the consumer is going to be concerned about on the front of it. And then on the back of it with the labeling, they spend money on those nutritional labels. They spent time researching how to get people to respond to those labels like they want. They make the serving size of a specific size so that the calorie count doesn't look ridiculous. They give you these huge bags that are half filled with air, so you think you're getting this huge bag of chips, when in reality it's half of that in volume. And then you look at the servings, and there's 15 servings in the bag, and each serving is 150 to 200 calories, and that you're not going to eat just one serving. But you don't think about that when you're looking at the label. You just say, hey, this bag of chips has 130 calories. The bag next to it has 160. I guess I'll buy the 130 calorie box or bag. And what you don't realize is that they end up having the same calorie count. It's just one company decided to make their serving size 15 chips and the other company made their serving size 17 chips. And they, and it's just, it's so much arbitrary numbers on there. But they know how to work it to get our minds to buy their product. And that's what they want. That's all they care about, is they want you to purchase the product their product instead of purchasing the competitor's product. And they also are kind of forced to make this food unhealthy. You know, we live in a great society, but all of these companies are beholden to their shareholders. They have to do what is in the best interest of the shareholders of the company. So when they're faced with the dilemma between making something more or less healthy, if making it more healthy causes them to sell less of it, they can't do it because they'll lose their job. If the shareholders find out that they made a decision that cost them 1 penny per share because they decided to concern themselves with the health of the customer and not with the wallet of the shareholder, they'll lose their job because the shareholders decide who's running the company. And so we have to understand that the food that we're being presented with, what we see in the grocery store, has all been engineered to get you to buy it and to get you to consume it. And then at the end of the day, they want you to believe that it's your fault that you failed. Ron here says that we are addictive, but not as bad for you if you don't eat the whole bag. Come on, buy me. Yes, it's, and so many of these products that come in bags that, you know, say that there's 12 servings or say there's X number of servings on there. It doesn't really, nobody eats just one serving, you know, like even in healthy foods, the serving sizes that they've determined, they've continued to shrink down the serving sizes so that they can continue to show it having fewer calories, because they know that that's the thing on the nutritional label that people concern themselves with the most. And if you look at many nutritional labels, the biggest number, the boldest number is the calories per serving. That's what they want you to look at. They don't want you to look at what the percentage of trans fat, what the number of added grams of sugar is. They don't want you looking at the ingredient list. All they want you to do is look at that calorie number, and they do everything they can to push that. But again, it's our natural instinct to eat the whole bag, because we would sit under an apple tree and we would eat all of the apples on the tree. We wouldn't leave half the tree for somebody else to come over and start eating the apples. We would sit under that tree and we would eat apples, and then we would protect that tree from anybody else coming in and taking the apples that we have on this tree. Well, that is the same thing with the bag of potato chips. You know, how many times have you been sitting there eating a bag of potato chips with your spouse or your kid or your friend next to you who's been reaching into the bag, eating them? And as you get down to the bottom of the bag, you start to get defensive of your chips. You start to kind of weigh out, well, how much of these chips am I going to get versus how much is this person going to get? Or, wow, this person's really got their hand in this bag here. You know, you want to take it back from them and say, get away. These are my chips. Like, that's natural. That's a natural instinct that we have in us to finish the food, to eat the bag of food. It's something that we want to do. It's something that we needed to do for centuries and centuries and millennia to get to this point, because we're the product of generations of binge eaters. We're the product of generations of people that were able to pack the food in and survive when no food was available. And that's why it's part of our physiology. It's why it's part of our bodies here. Cindy here says that Dr. Greger was saying today what a processed food is. And a processed food is if something is added or removed. Yeah, I mean, and really you could even get into like steel cut oats is a processed food because it's not in its natural form. They do something to process the food, even though it's just cutting it in half. That's a processed food. So, but yes, most processed foods, they generally take something that was in nature and then they either remove something from it that was normally in nature, or they add something to it that wasn't normally in nature. So it is something that you have to realize that these processed foods like that have things removed, have things added, are not the best foods for you to eat. They're not how your body would have seen them. They're not how your ancestors would have eaten them. And we're the product of our ancestors. Cindy here says that she thinks even if we juice a whole food and remove the fiber, we now process it. Yes. And I think that what you have to start doing is you have to start letting other people process your food. That's something that we've done a ton of. Carrie makes a ton of recipes from scratch. We make a lot of sauces from scratch, and we are the ones that are doing the processing. We are the ones that are blending it. We're the one that's juicing it. We're the one that's doing these different things to the food. And that's, you have to take that over. You have to take over control of the processing of food, because when you allow other people to process it, they are going to add things to it so that you'll continue to buy it, or they'll remove things from it to make it eat more palatable. And they also, they're trying to get your money. They're trying to get you to buy their product. So they have an incentive to make it more palatable for you than to not. So really it's less convenient to eat this way, but that convenience, by not living through convenience, you add years onto your life at the end. If I had to continue to eat the convenience food that I was eating, then I would have, I would not likely live for as long as I'm hoping to live now, that I have removed all of these processed foods, or these foods that are processed by other people, from my diet. And taking back that control has made a huge difference. It's allowed me to lose 245 pounds, and I feel great because of that. Because I've eliminated processed foods, I've taken control back, and I've realized that the binge eating is not a disorder. The binge eating is natural, and I feel the most satisfied when I binge eat. Just like before I started this diet, when I binge ate, I was the most satisfied because I was eating large volumes of food. I'm still satisfied because I eat large volume of food. I still get to feed into that natural instinct to eat a lot of food. And it feels great to be full. It feels amazing to be full. And it's been a great experience for me these past 839 days to be able to eat that amount of food, to fill my gut up, and to still lose weight. If it's, time's weird, right? Because I wish I could go back and talk to myself 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and just show myself my phone and just be like, look at all these photos of food that you have. Look at all of this food that you ate to lose weight. Like, just imagine getting to do that, because the past version of myself did not believe that I would be able to eat this volume of food and lose weight. I didn't even know the concept of volume eating and calorie density 5 years ago, but now they are the basis of my diet. They're the basis of my success is volume eating. It's calorie density. And to be able to eat large meals a day, many times having 3 separate meals a day and finishing the day with a dessert here over the past month and still lose 1.5 pounds after losing 240 pounds, still losing 1.5 pounds in a week. I didn't think that it was possible. Hey, Janet, how are you? Here I am. Yes, I am here. I don't know if you had a hard time finding me, but I'm here. So let's see. I'm just talking a little bit. I posted a video earlier about fasting, and I was just talking a little bit about binge eating and how I think that it's got a bad rap. I think that the idea of being a binge eater makes you less of a person or makes you weaker, makes you a weak person, I think is awful. I think that it's a shame that that has been what is what's come of binge eating, what's come of this natural instinct of ours to eat the food that's around us and to make sure that we consume as much of it as possible. It's natural instinct to binge eat. But it's not natural to binge eat junk food. It's not natural to binge eat processed food. So we really have to understand that we can feed into our natural instincts by binge eating, unintended. And we don't have to starve ourselves to get to a healthy weight. We don't have to use moderation to get to a healthy weight, because moderation doesn't work. It hasn't worked for me, and it doesn't work for many people. It gets to a point where people are so convinced that moderation is going to work that they have surgery so that they can only eat in moderation, and even those people don't all succeed. If moderation worked, you would think that the people that had weight loss surgery, the people that made it so that they could not eat outside of moderation, you would think that they would have 100% success rate or have a 95% success rate. And that's not the case. They do not have anywhere near that. It's almost the opposite. It's a much lower success rate than you would think it would be if it was the solution. If moderation was the solution, then weight loss surgery would be the ultimate key to that solution. But there's tons of examples of people out there that eat beyond what they're able to do, or they find foods that still have incredible amount of calories in them. And they push it into their body and it doesn't work. What works is calorie density. What works is eating many pounds of low calorie dense foods, because if, that salad I had last night, the volume of that, the size of that, it didn't weigh a lot, but it was still a very large volume of food. That is what is going to cause me to lose weight. It's not going to be me eating half portions or eating less food. That's not what's going to cause me to lose weight. And I'm so happy that I found this way of eating and that it really works. It absolutely works. And, one of the comments, in the video I made, at the end of it was, if you're really willing to try anything, then you should try a plant-based diet, a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet, because that's something that I did do it, but I wasn't open to it until right before I did it. The idea of eating a plant-based diet or having a diet free of animal products, I never had considered it until I was fasting, until I really opened my mind up to all possibilities, because it was, I was starting from scratch, and that's a big point of that video that I made today, is that water fasting is a great tool. It's a great thing. And I'll be forever grateful that I did water fast, and that I did water fast for 40 days or over 40 days. I'll be forever grateful for that. But that didn't get me to 272 pounds. I had experience in the past where I water fasted and lost a great amount of weight, but it was fixing the diet this time that caused the continuation of my weight loss. It was the realizing that I needed to be open to trying something new, because everything that I tried in the past failed. Everything I tried before was wrong. And so I had to be open to trying something new, because it was, I was to the point where I needed to do something. This was my last ditch effort before signing up for that weight loss surgery that I'm so happy that I avoided, that I didn't go down that road. Produce Not Pills here says that you're glad that I found True North because of water fasting. And that you had as well. And then you asked, have I met Dr. Goldhamer yet? I have not. I've not met Dr. Goldhamer or Dr. Lisle. The only person I've really met is Chef AJ from that. And she's just the only reason I tie her into that is because she's the one that did the audio book, The Pleasure Trap, that I listened to. And then I've been on her show a couple times, but yeah, I would love to talk to Goldhamer and Dr. Lisle. I was actually thinking that I should almost reach out to do an interview, but I don't know. I've never interviewed anybody, so I don't know if I'd be very good at doing interviews. But I'd love to have a conversation with them. There's questions I'd love to ask them. There's one question that pops into my head that I really would love to ask them, and it has to do with the motivational triad and why they decided to make it a triad versus doing less or more. But I would love to talk to them someday, and hopefully I will. If I get to my goal weight, and I think people are really going to start to listen to what I say. I think, I've done an amazing thing so far, and I've lost 245 pounds. And even if I just maintained that 245 pound weight loss, I think that I could get some attention. But once I get down to 250, down to 230, down to 220 to my goal, it's really going to be hard not to I'm really hoping that that's when people start to listen to me and they start to realize that, there's something to this. And not just when I get to my goal weight, but a year from now or 4 years from now, when I'm still at my goal weight. That's what I really hope for. Ron here says, you find that a lot of whole food plant-based recipes, especially with pasta, are very large, and the most meals that you eat have a good sized portion your wife just can't finish, and she is not whole food plant-based beyond what you cook. But yeah, the recipes are huge. It's like this reboot that we just have been doing. Carrie made some recipes from that, and both of us were just kind of like, man, I can't believe how much this makes in these recipes. Some of it is, designed for batch cooking. And that's one of the things I think is great about eating these whole natural foods is that I really feel like they last longer in the fridge, or they last longer. My focus keeps going out. They last longer, And so you can do that batch cooking. And then 4 days later, you're not real concerned about there being rotting meat or cheese or dairy in the food. Um, so yes, the portions are extremely large, um, and you got to fill yourself up with those portions because it helps reduce cravings later on. And as long, if the lower calorie dense you can make the foods that you put in your stomach, the better, and the more likely you are going to be to lose weight. Produce Pill says that you've been to a couple of Chef AJ's conferences. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm nowhere near California, so I wouldn't really be able to do that. And then how did Chef AJ find you to get you on her channel? I was the one that reached out to Chef AJ. I wanted to share my story. At the very least, when I reached out to her, I wanted to thank her for her effort towards promoting this way of eating. If she would not have taken the time to read the audiobook or make the Pleasure Trap available on audiobook, I don't know that I ever would have read it. Like that's that convenience, right? That's the effort that I would have had to have taken to read it, to, sit down and actually do that. I don't think I would have done that. And so, she kind of, she's got a public platform on YouTube. On her webpage, she kind of had a thing, if you want to be a guest, fill this out. So I did kind of a bio, thanked her for what she did. And then her group reached out to me, asked me if I wanted to do an interview. She liked the interview the first time enough that she asked me to come back and speak to her private group. And then I did a second interview with her. And then she asked me to be part of the Truth About Weight Loss Summit, which starts this weekend. I didn't really promote it very much, but I think that you guys should definitely check out the Truth About Weight Loss Summit. I have some links somewhere that maybe I'll post up on the community page of YouTube here. I also have a Facebook page now that I don't have any links in the description or anything yet, but there's a Facebook page called Fa Dieting that Carrie helped set up, that she kind of has been managing for me, that when I do my videos, I've been sharing those videos on that channel. And it's just another platform for you guys to reach out, share what you guys, whatever you guys are able to do on the page. I'm not sure how, if it's a group page or what. Carrie's definitely the Facebook person. I'm not the social media guy as far as that goes. And then how tall am I? I'm 6 foot tall. I am the shortest of all my brothers at 6 foot, but yes, I'm 6 foot tall. And then Ron asks, has anybody signed up for the Forks Over Knives online summit this weekend? I didn't know that Forks Over Knives had an online summit. I've been too focused on the Truth About Weight Loss Summit. That's the only good summit this weekend. No, I have not signed up for that. But hey, Produce.Pill says the conferences weren't in California, they're in Vegas. And you thought that it was such an oxymoron to go to Vegas, and but maybe that's the best place to go. Like that's something where, being able to shine that light in a dark room, like that's maybe the thing to do. That's the place to do it at. Cindy here says that you signed up for the Truth About Weight Loss. Looking forward to seeing me on the 4th day. Yes, I think there was some promotional materials that they had sent out. And I am on the 4th day. They did say somewhere that each day is going to have one person that is a weight loss success story. And on the 4th day, I am that person that is a weight loss success story. Ron says that's the name. You were just notified from Forks Over Knives. Yeah, the Truth About Weight Loss Summit is what I am going to be, or I was interviewed on that summit, and I just kind of go over my weight loss and stuff, and then a little bit about calorie density and volume eating, because it's really been the key for me. It's what's really been what has made the difference in my life, is embracing the volume eating, embracing the calorie density, and realizing that there's no place in my diet for a lot of those highly processed foods, and no place in my diet for animal products anymore either, which again, going into this, I didn't believe possible. I didn't think it was a thing. I thought everybody that was a vegan or plant-based just did it to lose weight, or did it as a fad. You know, just you can be vegan until your body catches up to you, and then you have to start eating animal products again. You know, I didn't realize that there's plenty of examples of people that have done this for decades, or most of their life, or almost their whole life. You know, it's hard to find anybody who's been, you know, lifelong vegan. You know, even if my kids decide to be vegan the rest of their lives, they still started the first few years of their lives not being vegan. But I realize now that I was wrong, and it takes a little bit to understand, or to be willing to accept that you're wrong about some things, you know. And I'm happy that I was open to the change. I think that fasting definitely helped open up, open up my mind a bit too, because and one of the things in the video that maybe I didn't talk about enough is the fact that it needs, if you're going to fast, you need to be fasting for a reason. And I think that the biggest reason to fast is to do a reset, to change something about your diet. You know, if you decide that you want to do a bunch of little fasts, make a plan out that what are you going to change after each one of these fasts? Are you going to eliminate soda? You're going to eliminate caffeine? You're going to eliminate processed food? You're going to eliminate dairy or cheese? You know, like, have a plan for what's going to change after the fast, because the fast isn't going to heal you. You know, I say it in the video, even if I fasted for 42 days in 2020, but that means that for 320 plus days, I ate. And to think that not eating for 40 days is going to counteract eating crap food for 320 days, it's bad thinking. It's not going to happen. It's a false it's a false ideology, I guess, or it's a false kind of it's just not, it doesn't work. You know, like, you cannot fast away, because it's tough to get back into it. You know, like, I did a 40-day water fast, and I tried fasting again a few months later, and the motivation, you have to be motivated to choose not to eat. And that gets difficult as time goes on, especially when you start seeing success, and you start seeing that, for me, I started seeing that I didn't have to fast, and I could continue to lose weight. Like, that was a big thing for me right after my fast, is that I lost 90 pounds. And my mentality going into refeeding was that, all right, now for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to have to deal with gaining a bunch of that weight back. And then I'll have to work on losing it again. And then on day 50 or day 51, when I got back on the scale, I was another 10 pounds lighter. I had been eating, and I continued to lose weight. And I had watched lots of videos about people doing fasting and different articles about fasting, and all of them said, expect to gain X amount back, X percentage back. And when I ate this way, I didn't. And I think that was something that was pretty amazing too for me. But yeah, I think I'm going to get out of here today. I appreciate you guys for keeping me company on today's live stream. Carrie bailed on me. She had too much to do. So if you were looking for Carrie today, I'm sorry, guys. She's not going to be here. Oh, crap. My viewers just went to 0. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I will be back on Monday. And I hope you guys all have a great weekend, that you're able to stay compliant on your diet. Make sure that you're doing things that make staying on your diet easier than the alternative. Bring food with you if you're going somewhere. Eat a bunch of food when you have it around you, food that's compliant. Eat that food when you can. Have food in your future. Have something at home that you can eat, have something in your car, have something in your purse that you can eat, so that you can say no and you can have a reason why. You can say, no, I'm not going to eat that because I have a big bowl of salad at home. No, I'm not going to have that right now because I just ate a big meal. You have to give yourself a because. When you say no, you have to have a because. No, because I did this. No, because I'm going to do this. If it's just no, then your body starts thinking, oh, shoot, we're going to starve to death. And that's when we start making bad choices. So thanks, guys. Yes, she's busy out hunting for broccoli and salt-free seasoning. Our fridge got so chocked full of freezer. She went shopping yesterday, and she was even going to post about it. She might have posted about it on the Facebook page or somewhere, about stockpiling and getting a bunch of broccoli florets. The broccoli florets is what we really like the most, not the broccoli stems or the broccoli cuts or whatever. Yeah, it is so good. Like it's so good. It really is. And you can eat it with really nothing on it too, if you want. So, yes. So thanks, guys. I'm going to get out of here. Have a great weekend. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you haven't clicked on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live and post new videos, make sure you do that. If you haven't liked this video and commented down below how what meal do you enjoy binging on your plant-based diet. And last but not least, if you have not started your diet yet, get started right now. Clean that pantry out, go to the store and fill it up with wonderful plant-based meals, plant-based foods, fruits and vegetables, legumes, and all those wonderful things. Fill up your pantry with that food. Get started today. Nobody reaches their goals, looks back, and wishes they would have waited. Everybody wishes they would have started sooner. So get started today. I'll talk to you guys on Monday. And if I can find where my mouse is, I'll actually be able to leave. All right. See you guys later.